You're listening to Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by. On the morning shift.
Anything
could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sudbury News Talk. On the morning shift, I'm AJ Walsh. Glad to be here with you. Thankful that you're here with us. We're actually not sure what's going on. We are buffering here on the radio. So I'll just have to mute it on the radio. Hang on a second. Yeah, so I apologize for those listening on CKLU for not hearing the intro. It's never happened before where it just buffers and then finally just comes on, whenever. So there you go. It's always something new. Anything can happen, like the intro says on the show, and that is true. Every day something new happens, and it is what it is. But we roll with the punches. We do our best. We try to continue to just bring you the best show that we possibly can when we have like 7 or 8 different devices and things to figure out on the fly. You'd never know there was all this technical stuff in the background going on. So that's an accomplishment in of itself. Welcome to Sudbury News Talk on CKLU 96.7 FM, cklu.ca on the internet. We stream there. If you go to the website, you click on the Radio Player Canada app and you can stream us. If you want to take us with you, you download the Radio Player Canada app and take us with you and listen to us anywhere, anytime on your favorite device. We are also streaming live at facebook.com/Sudbury News, youtube.com/Sudbury News. So make sure to like, share, subscribe, and follow the page and the channel. Also, make sure to comment live. That way, I'll do my best to read your comments. And if, as the show moves on, we'll get your comments up on the screen. And the shows are also available on demand on both those platforms, Facebook and YouTube. You can also catch us on Twitter, now X, twitter.com/Sudbury News, and Sudbury.news, which is our news aggregator that we have for a service to the community to provide all the news aggregating into one convenient location for everybody. So we're grateful that we have that. And you can find the show on demand. You just click on the Sudbury News Talk tab and you can watch us after the show on all of those platforms. However, the conversation can only continue on Facebook. So I'm sure you can comment on YouTube as well in the comments section, but it becomes less of a conversation than on Facebook. So if you want to continue the conversation after the show is over and you have something to say about something someone else said or about what was mentioned on the show, feel free to do that. We monitor it and moderate it as good as we possibly can, but it's only myself who is doing it. And unfortunately, I'm only able to do so much. And so I just ask everyone to be respectful with their comments, with each other, no attacking and things like that. We want to be respectful. And I think you know what that means. I don't need to go over what respect means. You can have an opinion, and we do. I have an opinion, you have an opinion, everybody has an opinion. And you can be respectful with one another with that opinion, no problem, even if it's the opposite. So no degrading comments, putting people down, things like that. So we are going to have a great show today. We are going to be talking about local news headlines, and the homelessness, problem that we are facing here in the city, and what that means to the city and what we're going to do about homelessness. Mike Parent put forward a plan to implement that's going to cost us $350 million to eliminate homelessness here in the city of Sudbury by 2030. And we'll break that down a little bit about what that looks like. It's a story from Sudbury.com. And they're just going behind the scenes and looking into what that actually means for us here in the city. So that'll be interesting on the show today. We're going to be talking about Blue Box, recycling, and that looks like that, and maybe a few other things going on around Sudbury. There's some mining-related stories if we're going to get to it, which, surprise, surprise, in Sudbury, things relating to mining. We will talk a little bit about the fireworks. I guess Timmins as well will not be having fireworks this season. We talked about that on the show yesterday, and much, much more. We'll have we'll build off of our conversation that we had on our Friday focus on climate and weather manipulation, if you will, or just weather geoengineering in our skies, and it's been going on for some time. And many people call it a conspiracy that we don't do anything to the weather, but we'll have scientists in England just coming forward and just letting us know what it's about, why they're doing it, and what's involved with it. So it's not a conspiracy theory. It's just something that happens. And the faster that we can get to just admitting it and moving on, we'll have a more open, transparent conversation about what's being sprayed over your head each and every day, pretty much, on a regular basis. But before we get into any of that, we will check in with the weather and see what's going on there. Speaking of climate, right? And we'll be back right after this. Stay tuned. It's going to be a great show. And Sudbury weather brought to you by Duck Check. And if you are interested and concerned about the quality of the air that you breathe inside your home, business, or that you own or that you work in, make sure to check out duckcheck.com. They'll make sure that your air is as clean and pure as it possibly can, either in your residence or in your place of work. So check out duckcheck.com. Currently it is 7 degrees. It's sunny. Yes, it is sunny. Today it'll be sunny, high of 21, UV index 7 or high. Tonight it'll be clear, increasing cloudiness near midnight, however. And then Wednesday, a mix of sun and cloud, 30% chance of showers early in the morning. And the wind will be gusting about 40 degrees with your high being 24. So again, tomorrow, 30% chance of showers, high of 24. And then Thursday, 60% chance of showers with a high of 20. And Friday, 40% chance of showers, high of 22. Saturday, so far, they're estimating that it's going to be 24 degrees and sunny, so that would be great for the weekend. And then a 30% chance of showers on Sunday, high of 26. And then high of 29. So we're going to get up to almost the 30 degree range on June the 17th. That's Monday, a couple days before the beginning of summer, officially anyways. And a look at your satellite. This is from yesterday. So we'll just get a more recent view, hopefully. And it looked pretty much the same. And here you go. As of 5:30 this morning, you can see a lot of the cloud activity coming in from the west. But other than that, it's pretty clear over our area. And that's your weather brought to you by Duck Check. Visit duckcheck.com or give them a shout at 705-918-4848 for duct cleaning and inspection of your home to make sure the air that you're breathing is as clean as it possibly can. And if you mention us and you say, hey, Sudbury News mentioned that I could get $100 off that cleaning, they will honor that. So just make sure to mention us when you give them a shout. That's your Sudbury weather, brought to you by SudburyWeather.ca and Duck Check. We'll be back with news headlines, your comments, and much more. Okay, and we're back, and here we are, and here you are. So thanks everybody for commenting. There's quite a few people on this morning, and here you go. We have people on YouTube, people on Facebook, and the first to YouTube. We have 3, even though I'll go back later today, it'll say 0 or 1 person watched, but that's just for some reason an algorithm that it can't be transparent. Maybe the government is running YouTube for all we know, right? That's the kind of thing that you see from our government. No transparency. But Nana is on, and good morning. Young man, oh my goodness, thank you very much. With a sunshine emoji and an exclamation point. Thank you very much, Nana. That makes me feel good first thing in the morning. And Nancy, good morning. So far, beautiful sky, blue skies this morning. Yes, they are. We'll see how long they last for. I know. This morning is... you're singing a song, Bob. I can see that as well. So grateful for that. Kicking us off musically this morning. Good morning, everyone. From Barrie, this is Marianne, liked and shared as usual. And Judy on Facebook. Good morning, Judy. Thanks for being with us. Monique, grand rising, everyone, with a smiley or a sunshine emoji and a heart. It will be sunny today. I can sense that everybody's pretty excited about the sun. Pat, good morning. Sunshine and people with some sunshine emojis and a smiley emoji. Here's more sunshine from Monique. Good morning, Sudbury. Thanks for being with us, Monique. Marianne, Facebook changed algorithms again. Really? That's interesting. Yeah, well, I guess they're constantly changing. They're always making it better and better and better for everybody. Good morning to you, Marianne. And David says, good morning, take care, stay safe. Same to you, David. Much appreciated. Claire, good morning. Maurice, good morning with a sunshine emoji. Marianne also says, oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate all you guys being on every morning, and the new people too. Welcome to anyone who's new being on the show. We have a pretty dedicated group of people that we meet together each and every morning for our morning, what do you call it? Kind of ranting and trying to make sense of the world that we live in, the communities that we live in. We're based out of Sudbury, Ontario, but many people join us from other areas, and you're more than welcome to, because the things we talk about aren't just Sudbury-centric. I'm sure everyone can take a little bit of what we talk about and learn something about the world we live in, try and make a little bit of sense about it. We talk about regional things, provincial, national, international things that affect each and every one of us, which we'll be talking about a little bit later today after our local news. So Brian says, we're all adults here. Good morning, Patriots. Yes, that's true. To be respectful in the comments is what I was alluding to a little bit earlier in the show. Mona says, good morning with a heart emoji and a sunshine or a smiley emoji. Much appreciated. Yeah, Sudbury's precious minerals they want. Definitely. We've had a few royal visits here in Sudbury where they were kind of checking out their spoils, if you will. And a lot of people not realizing why we get royal visits in Sudbury, but they're just kind of checking on their goodies, making sure everything is going according to plan. Denise, not that they have to visit here to see that, but it's good for them to just kind of show up and see it firsthand. Denise, good morning, everyone. Stay safe and healthy. Enjoy your day. Same to you, Denise. And the other Denise, blessings this fine morning from Espanola. Thanks for being on, guys, and thanks for chiming in. Denise says Gravenhurst reported a weird sunrise or a Weir's sunrise. Weird sunrise. It's on my page. Okay, well, that's interesting. If you want to check out Denise's page, she has a picture of a weird sunrise from Gravenhurst. I'm not sure if it has to do with what we're going to be talking about today, and that's the weather engineering that goes on, the solar engineering. There's many names for it: weather modification, weather manipulation, geoengineering, weather engineering, solar engineering. The list goes on. But we'll be talking about that today. Wish we all can get sun. Yes, for sure. We do need it. Good thing the earth is heating up, LOL, because we only get this cool weather. Last summer, we only had 5 days of heat and mostly gray and rain. We seem to be on the same path again this summer. That's Marianne from Barrie, but we have similar weather all the time in Sudbury. So, Linda, good morning from River Valley. Good morning to you, Linda. Thanks for being on. Sudbury News Talk, one of the best morning shows in the region, right here. Well, thank you, Brian. Much appreciated. And you guys make it that, so it's a pat on the back for you guys. Let's check in on whatever was going on around this great city of ours. Here, some headlines from Sudbury.news, which we will be talking about more at length. Here's the headline from Sudbury.com. Behind the scenes, a roadmap to end homelessness in Sudbury has a $350 million price tag. And so Sudbury.com's Jenny Lamoth, will be going behind the scenes and looking into that a little bit more. And Debbie, good morning to you with a sunshine emoji, or smiley emoji anyway, same thing. It's very positive. So thanks for being on, Debbie. We'll be talking about homelessness a little bit in Sudbury and what we're doing about it. And we talked about remember yesterday, the fireworks. We won't be getting fireworks in Sudbury this Canada Day. We're going to be getting a drone show. So drones with lights on them, putting on a show instead of our regular fireworks display on Canada Day, due to many reasons. One of the reasons being the waste that fills up our landfills. You know, the last time I was at the landfill and I couldn't find a place to put my garbage from all the years of all the fireworks going on and all of the garbage from that. It's just a problem everyone encounters at the landfills. All of the landfill, the waste from all the fireworks years gone by. We should have had landfills just dedicated to the garbage that's come from the fireworks, right? So much garbage, so much waste from fireworks that, it's an epidemic. So we have to stop because of that and the noise. It's noisy for people that are, sensitive to sound. And I do know my daughter is very sensitive to sound, but I'm sure she also appreciates fireworks. Animals are scared of the sound of fireworks. So, and the air pollution that fireworks cause, that is extreme. I'm sure it's been contributing to global warming for years and we just didn't realize it. So now if we stop the fireworks, that alone might be able to solve the world's climate problem. So we're going for drones now, which are fully charged by electric, battery technology. They will not contribute to air pollution. They won't be noisy. And they won't fill our landfills until they're of no more use, and then they'll fill our landfills, but that'll be years down the road, right? So we're grateful that we're going for drones instead of fireworks, I guess. One thing that I did notice, this is Marianne, is your cameras are way different than the ones we have set up. Oh, in our traffic cameras. Yeah, that's a huge thing going on in Sudbury too. We should be talking about more and more because I share the stories, the Facebook page. It's only been around for a couple months and already has almost as many likes and follows as Sudbury News. That's incredible, right? So it's only been around for 2 months. It shares pictures of the different speed cameras that are set up around the city and when people, they do different things to them, creative things to them, that then the cause of that makes them inoperative. And so Sudbury Camera's Facebook page, people put their pictures of what's going on with the different cameras and then when they're fixed and ready to go again, so everybody's kind of in the know. But yeah, it's a thing, and it definitely, a lot of people are passionate about these cameras, and we have many new cameras. We have so many new cameras. That's Debbie. Marianne, ours look like movie cameras, and they are mounted up on poles. Yes, I think that's probably going to be a regret of the city of Sudbury, the fact that they just have them on the ground in box form, and people can vandalize them easier that way. But it doesn't seem to deter. They have a guy that comes out and fixes them within hours anyways, and I guess they're making more than enough money that pays for these guys to be on call 24/7 and just fixing them with all the new parts all the time. There must be a lot of tickets they're issuing to people to make the money to pay for it, right? They must be making some money off of these. We're looking forward to seeing how much money they made, and we're looking forward to seeing how much more safer our streets have become since these cameras have been around. You know, we were looking forward to seeing the stats before the cameras, how many fatalities and how many accidents there were on these roads before the cameras were installed. So that way we can see how much more safer the cameras made us after they were installed, right? Because they're there to make the streets safer. So obviously we'll have that data hopefully provided for us, so we can measure how successful this program has been. And the city has wanted to change the narrative halfway through and just say the measure of success will be that people drove slower, not that it made it safer. So they didn't say that to sell us on it in the first place, not that anyone was sold on it, maybe a few people, but they said it's going to make our streets safer. They didn't say make our streets slower. But the city will come out and say, it's a success. The streets are slower now, which obviously, why wouldn't they be slower if people were going to get hundreds of dollars in tickets if they weren't going the speed limit, right? So why would you blatantly just go out and speed if you were going to get a traffic ticket? But regardless, were you going to hit somebody or get in an accident before the cameras? How many accidents have you been on these streets where the cameras are installed? How many times have you seen an accident on these streets where these cameras are installed? How many fatalities have there been? So again, right, is the measure just the fact that we're going to be going slower, which is a no-brainer. People are going to be going slower, but is it in fact making our streets safer? Are we going to see the previous stats and then the stats after these cameras? Are they in fact making our streets safer? If not, then what's the purpose, right? If you can't prove that they're making our streets safer, they must be for another reason. So what's the other reason? What are some of the other reasons? Okay, so Brian says, okay, I got to say this canceling of fireworks because our landfills are overflowing is a bit of a reach, I'd say. Well, yeah, you'd have to talk to the city of Sudbury on that one, because that's one of the reasons they said they're stopping fireworks. I heard some talk that Sudbury chose to put up cheap versions because they were cheaper to replace. Interesting. Well, they're doing a lot of replacing, that's for sure. So it's a good thing they are cheaper. Our camera setup undergoes more repairs than anything else. Remember, those repairs are paid by our tax dollars. Think about that for a minute. Yes, and I do believe, and I could be wrong, that it's all part of the cost of doing business with this company. I think that's rolled in to the price of the cameras is, no matter what, they're going to come out and fix it. So the city pays a flat fee for them. That's as far as I know. I could be wrong on that one. So if they are paying piecemeal for these guys to come out and fix them, then that's a different story. It'd be great to know all the ins and outs of the contract and how much money it cost, how much money it made, and then how much safer our streets were made. As we look back at the program, or is this just an internal program, right? Because we have like hundreds of streets where they've done studies and want to roll them out So maybe this is going to be an ongoing thing. We'll never have a chance to go back and really look at the good, the bad, and the ugly of it. Marianne says, where I live, 3 months they made $300,000. The township gets half, and the company that owns the cameras get half. Wonder what they are doing with that money. That's true, and that would be in the Barrie area. So good morning to you, Jerome, from Manitoulin. Right on. You're in a good place today. Sudbury City Council speed trap. Yeah, that's what it definitely is. No cameras on Manitoulin, as far as I know, at the moment. So you're safe there. Denise thinks it's a scam. And Marianne, truthfully, police would never stop you for going 1 kilometer over. And many have gotten tickets here for 1 kilometer over with a price tag starting at $80 for 1 kilometer over the speed limit. And they say it's not about the money. Strange. They were put up for school zones, but there were none in school zones. Yeah, that's true. Same thing here, too. You'd think if actually the reason was to be safer, what other place would you want to be safer than a school zone? I mean, that's probably the ultimate place that, even though there was few or no fatalities on any of these streets with any accidents, few or none, the reason is they're saying it is for safety. But in a school zone, people would probably at least say, well, there is more potential for something like that to happen in a school zone. So yeah, okay, everyone can get behind that. But no, not one school zone. There's not one camera at one school zone. And I don't know the reason for that, but it is what it is. Brian says, thanks for clarifying. I agree. Unfortunately, we'll never see the real numbers. And Denise, yeah. Nancy says, just another way to get more money from us because we don't pay enough in taxes already. That's right, exactly. It's just like I was saying the other day with bank fees. I was thinking they need to put those boxes to donate, those donation boxes at the bank, because they're constantly dinging us with fees left, right, and center. They must really need the money. Just put a donation box, for crying out loud, at the bank. Maybe the city needs the same thing. Just donation boxes everywhere, and people can just go donate because we need the money so badly, right? Now, how about if we treat the money that we already have the way we would treat our own money or run our own business and not misspend and not mismanage the money in the first place, and maybe we'd have enough to begin with that we wouldn't need to continue to find more money all the time. Maybe that would be something we could look at, and maybe we could do an audit of the city to find out where those areas are that we're misspending or mismanaging, that we can find some savings. Maybe we could do that. Maybe we can have an audit of the city that would then save us money. Money spent would be money saved, right? And it would be more transparent. People would be more happy with what they found out. It would have to be a third party. It couldn't be somebody who worked at the city, obviously. But and a trusted third party, and maybe even someone from the city that really wants to find what's really going on and doesn't have any kind of bias or ties with someone who works in the city or the potential of being paid off or anything like that. People would love more integrity in our society. We would love more transparency. We'd love more accountability. And if we would love that, and that's the majority of what people would want, you would think that it wouldn't be all that hard if that was in a truly democratic society. That's what we really wanted. You wouldn't think it would be that tough to have that. But it is. I guess money changes everyone. Just like Cyndi Lauper said, money changes everything. So Marianne, very true. This is what our mayor reported. I think she lies. I think. A politician who lies. Can you imagine? Maybe one politician in history, maybe one lie possibly. Can you think of just one time that it could have possibly happened? Department is killing our country. we stopped saving and we started making loans. Oh, debt. Debt is killing our country. We stopped saving and we started making or taking out loans, right? Our country is in huge debt. Starting to think government is going about draining people's accounts because they have too many savings. Well, that will be coming to a bank near you. I can guarantee that in the near future. I don't know how near, but we will. Okay, yes. We're trying to be very respectful. I know, and that's about lying, politicians lying for sure, yes. We can pretty much guarantee that a politician is going to lie at some point or another. So Timmins is also going to be having this drone show instead of fireworks on Canada Day. So now that makes 2 northeastern Ontario cities foregoing fireworks shows this year and going with drone shows instead. That's from CBC. And now a little bit of a Ontario youth detention centers at overcapacity, creating concerns that another is set to close. That's crazy. That's also from CBC. This looks like last week, publicly run youth jails in Sudbury, Simcoe, and Brampton were either at or over capacity, according to CBC News sources. Ontario closed roughly half of its youth detention centers 3 years ago, and now there are concerns over capacity issues are having a negative impact on staff and youth. Yes, it would. Definitely, youth detention centers running over capacity would definitely stress a lot of people out. So, okay, now sticking with the looking into our homelessness situation here in the city. This is Sudbury.com. Jenny Lamoth taking us behind the scenes into what Sudbury is looking at doing here in the city. So the spotlight is on her story, Roadmap to End Homelessness in Sudbury. It has a $350 million price tag. It was published on May 28th. But anyways, so this is, you can go on Village Media, which is the parent company of Sudbury.com, and they have their own podcast talking about news stories. It's really well done. And I guess, so if you wanted to watch it in video form, you can go there as well and see Jenny talking about the story. But a report to council will discuss what's being called the Roadmap to End Homelessness by 2030, a plan that features an estimated cost of approximately $350 million. The estimated cost, which would be a mix of federal, provincial, and municipal funds, include $322 million in capital and startup cost, $13.6 million in annually in operating costs, and $11 million annually in additional rent supplements. The report shows that help is needed. So the trend line for homelessness in Greater Sudbury estimates the homelessness population will reach 741 individuals by 2030, a 205% increase from December of 2023, the report says. Trend lines were also developed to determine, so this is basically just forecasting based on past numbers and trends. So that's the reason for calling it a trend line. They're developed to determine the expected increase by each acuity level. Acuity levels indicate the level of support the person would require to obtain and maintain permanent housing and prioritizes the individual for the most appropriate support services. The most significant increase is expected in the high acuity level, with total homelessness in this category estimated to reach 611 individuals by 2030. The report stems from a motion tabled in September of last year led by Ward 5 Councillor Mike Parent, which directed municipal staff to develop a strategy to end homelessness by 2030. The strategy The motion explains will include financial and staffing requirements to transition services from temporary shelters to transitional and permanent supporting housing. Much of the report is offering council a fulsome look at the homelessness crisis in Sudbury, including contributing factors, existing systems, current funding models, and opportunities. So the report also details current Greater Sudbury strategies, including a 10-year-old housing and homelessness plan, the housing supply strategy, and offers information from what appears to be the most recent review of the emergency shelter system in 2018 and the social housing revitalization plan also in 2018. The report includes the disclaimer, quote, given the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on the housing and homelessness system, the environment has changed significantly since the review was completed. So they have to look at before the P word and during the P word and after the P word, pandemic. But so that totally changed the landscape of things, right? So going forward, how is that going to impact the report that the city has and that they're looking at? Pretty crazy stuff. But the plan is also known as what's called functional zero. Functional zero. In order to end homelessness by 2030, functional zero does not mean the complete absence of homelessness, but rather a system that ensures homelessness is rare, brief, and non-reoccurring. That and the number of people experiencing homelessness, they have the list now with names and everything on it, is 3 or fewer for a period of 3 months. So we want 3 or fewer homeless people experiencing homelessness in Sudbury in 2030 when we have all these systems in place. Now, how did we get here? I don't know. So we're trying to deal with homelessness, but I can't help but ask myself why we are where we are. Like, why are there so many people who are homeless? Can you remember 10 years ago plus having a homelessness problem in Greater Sudbury? We had people experiencing homelessness, yeah. But do we remember it being a crisis 10 years ago? So what's happened? What's causing this? Like, why are there a bunch of homeless people, not only in Sudbury, but in every community around Canada and the world? Why is the homeless population increasing? What's going on? What's changed? So, okay, we have a plan to deal with it, and hopefully there's going to be only 3 people homeless in the year 2030 in Sudbury. But if things have changed so much to make it so bad now, when it wasn't like that before, what can happen between now and 6 years from now to change it even worse? So if we look at the problem, it's like you have a dam and a community is below the dam, so you have a lot of water behind that dam. It's holding a ton of water back. And you notice water starting to come into your community. And you say, we have a plan that we're going to clean up this water by 6 years from now. All the water is going to be cleaned up. Because based on the water that's been coming out of the dam from the dam, we don't even know where the water is coming from. We just know there's water here, and it's getting in the way of us doing things. And so we need to clean this water up. Not for an instant thinking of where the water is coming from, and you have a dam right beside you. Now, if there's a problem with the dam, what do you think you should do? You should fix the dam, because that's where the problem starts. So where is homelessness coming from? Right? Sure, it's great to deal with the water, but if you don't deal with where it's coming from, who's to say that if here we're not even looking at the dam, we're not even thinking there's a dam, we're not asking ourselves, where's the water coming from? When the dam's right beside us, and obviously the water's coming from the dam. Why are there tons of homeless people around? We haven't been dealing with this issue 10 years ago, but we are now. So what's changed? What's causing it? And if you don't deal with it, if in my water scenario with the dam, and you don't block the leak or fix it, that's the problem. And now you don't have to worry about fixing the water problem in your community because you fixed the source that was causing it in the first place. But we don't think like that in society. We're constantly reactionary, and there's a problem, we try and fix it. We don't ask ourselves where it came from. There's a systemic problem in our society. And if we don't look at those things that are causing it at their root, we'll always have it. And we won't be able to spend $350 million to solve it. It wouldn't matter how much money you had. You could have 10 billion. It will not solve the problem. The numbers you're looking at right now are not going to be the numbers we have at that time, because if you don't fix the problem, it's going to get worse. And you might be on the streets by that point. And that's what I'm looking at. So it's as if I'm sitting in this town talking to the town council and saying, did you realize we had a dam right there? And we have water problem. Did we ever think to maybe we need to fix the dam? And them saying, what are you talking about? We can tell. We did studies. We spent millions of dollars on studies to see how much water we have in our community. And we have the ability to clean up the water. What are you talking about, this dam? It's that blatant, right? The reason for the problem that we have in the first place. We need to fix it. But it's a pretty scary thing if you start looking at what's caused the problem. And in order to fix it, what would we have to do to fix it? And if we put that $350 million into actually fixing the root of the problem, that might be a great start. Asking ourselves what's causing homelessness. And if we can figure it out in our community, maybe we can lock hands with other communities and say, let's take this on. When we figure out, hey, there's a big dam that's causing this. Let's all work together to fix it. But there's people that have something to gain that want your town to be wiped out for some strange reason, and we don't know that reason. And they have people coming and making the dam leak worse and worse. And you don't even want to see that. Like, we don't even want to recognize that that could even happen, that there's people who gain from this and they have something that makes, it's a part of a plan for some strange reason, right? And we need to be looking into this. We need to be wise. We need to be forward thinking. We need to think outside the box and not just be reactionary with the problem that we see in front of us. And we need to dig a little bit further, right? And there you go. So speaking of that, we also have things going on over our heads each and every day that we see, and we might even experience it today. Will we have a completely sunny day without any geoengineering going on over our heads? I have no idea, but my brother sent me this really great interview with this scientist in England that's talking about the geoengineering that goes on each and every day right above our heads, that many people turn a blind eye to, and they don't even acknowledge what's going on right in plain sight, right over their heads. It's weather modification done through jets, and it's there to help cool down our Earth, which is about to explode because it's getting too hot, right? So scientists need to come save the day. And people say, no, that's not true. Well, here, I'm glad my brother shared this with me. Here's a particular podcaster from England talking about their government and their government organization just coming out and talking about this. So I'm not sure where what he's already talked about before this, but we're just going to catch it midway.
So this gentleman is going to say about the situation, and then we'll have a look at a freedom of information request. So let me just get up the appropriate screen here before my headphones fall out. So here we go. This is the Met Office. Let's hear what they've got to say.
Geoengineering is a method to counterbalance the effects of global warming owing to the increased concentrations of atmospheric greenhouse gases.
So first of all, he's making the erroneous conclusion that CO2 is the problem, and he, from the Met Office, Jim Harwood, I think his name was, Hayward, Jim Hayward, his name is, from the Met Office, and they're giving us, they're setting it up, they're setting up the problem, and they're telling us what we already know, the myth of man-made global warming. Okay, let's carry on. So it says here, what different types of geoengineering are there?
Geoengineering or climate engineering generally falls into two specific categories. The first of which is called carbon dioxide removal, which, as the name suggests, is basically capturing carbon from the atmosphere and storing it.
That's not a sensible policy, seeing as CO2 is the gas of life. We need that to grow plants, and animals need to eat the plants, and we obviously eat both. I'm not sure that is a very sensible policy. You're mucking about there with the atmosphere. This is not good.
The second method is what's known as solar radiation management. Now, solar radiation management differs from carbon dioxide removal in that what you're trying to do is reflect an additional amount of sunlight back out to space. So solar radiation management is basically trying to reflect sunlight back out to space, leading to a cooling to counterbalance the increases in greenhouse gases.
Well, it's very cold when the chemical trails are up there in the sky. We certainly notice the difference. I mean, we're in the end of May. We're fast approaching the summer, and we're only given a few days of sunshine in the UK. Wherever you are, it might be slightly different. The idea of reflecting the sun back out, the sunlight is the energy of life. CO2 and sunlight are two of the most important aspects that we want. If you start mucking about by taking the sun out of the equation, you are effectively destroying life. And this is so basic, you cannot believe how ignorant and how stupid these people must be. And these are people in positions of so-called knowledge and power, and just peddling the same old rubbish that everybody knows is rubbish, that they've been told and are paid to do.
There's been various different solar radiation management schemes that have been mooted as being possible, all of which are basically trying to reflect sunlight back out to space.
Why would you do that? Why? Why would you not use some common sense and go, this is barking, this planet has been around for millions of years. We don't, and a few people on it running around like ants have somehow caused this warming, really? And it's all our fault. So what we're going to do is interfere with the planet by reflecting away the sunlight and potentially kill us all off? You are mad.
One of the most popular is to inject some reflective material into the stratosphere. This mimics really the impact of volcanic eruptions.
So we want to imply that there are more volcanic eruptions. That's a good place to live, is it? By chucking out stuff into the atmosphere, which presumably will eventually fall down. And are we not breathing all of this?
Which have been shown on the observational record to cool climate. There's another method which is artificial brightening of low-lying stratocumulus clouds. If you inject some aerosol into these low-lying stratocumulus clouds, you can brighten them. And of course, when you get a brightening of the planet, you're reflecting more sunlight back out to space.
Yeah, and you're decimating life on the Earth. I mean, it's bonkers, isn't it? Isn't this not just absolutely bonkers?
These are the two most popular solar radiation management techniques that are in the press at the moment.
And what are the pros and cons, it says here, for geoengineering?
Carbon dioxide removal is often thought of as a relatively benign kind of geoengineering because you're simply reducing the amount of carbon dioxide
and people
in the atmosphere. It's not quite as simple as that because a lot of the land that would be used for general agricultural practices like they are at the moment would have to be converted into land for specific growing of biomass burning. So there's certainly some ecological implications that are associated with CDR. Solar radiation management, the main conclusions that are coming out of the solar radiation management studies is that you cannot get a no temperature change Earth, no global mean net temperature change, without there being some regional side effects. So although you can hold the temperature of the Earth fixed at, say, present-day conditions, you will get regional responses in both temperature. For instance, the poles will warm up more than the equator.
Yeah, so in other words, you're meddling around and you're likely to get side effects, and we know that side effects can be extreme, and you can't plan for them, and it's going to be terrible for some people. So why muck about with the atmosphere? Leave it alone. Stop injecting all this stuff into the atmosphere, which we know, of course. I mean, and he's putting a very general case about it, isn't he? He's telling us that it's benign and all of this, and putting it into as friendly words as is possible. But of course, he's not actually telling you that the other substances they're shoving in there with the aluminium and the barium, is it, and the various other. He's not telling you the nefarious things about decimating the farmland, about and the dark forces, and they're trying to kill off the food, the great famine that will come because things won't grow, the poisoning of the atmosphere. The poison, all of it, and he probably doesn't know that. He probably only knows the tiny bit, the story, that is plausible, and maybe it makes sense. Well, no, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Stop meddling with our atmosphere. It's our planet. Nobody asked you. You didn't come to the people of the planet or to the people of the country and say, is it all right if we do this? We think there's a problem. Is it okay because you've got to breathe this in? You need to okay it. No, we need to say absolutely not. This is not happening. So the Met Office are telling you what's going on. They said they're spraying this aerosol stuff in there. But let us just have a look at this email here, because this is an email that came in from a chap called Shane, and he says, hi, Richard, this is an email, he's going to show us in a second, I sent to the Civil Aviation Authority, and the one I received back, I'm sure they have a scripted answer for all. It's shocking they treat us with such contempt and insult our intelligence at every instance. Thanks, Richard. I thought you'd like their response. So bear in mind the Met Office has told us that this is what they are doing. So this is what Shane sent to the Civil Aviation Authority. He says, to whom it may concern, I'm making a freedom of information request regarding the geoengineering and stratospheric aerosol injections taking place over Bedford in the UK on behalf of myself and my community. Please can you provide the names of the companies or branch of military carrying this out? Very good question. Please can you provide all information on the flights on the dates of the 1st of the 3rd 2024 to present day, as this is when we started recording the flights and the planes and have recorded them. So it's telling the Civil Aviation, we know what you're doing. Thanks very much, Shane from Bedford. And here is, so he says that, and here is the response. And the response is, let me just move that so we don't get distracted. So, thank you for contacting us, they say. Can we put your mind at rest? Aircraft are not allowed to dispense any chemicals into the atmosphere in the UK. Really? And yet we're all seeing it. This is the Civil Aviation Authority, but maybe they don't know what their pilots are doing. What you're actually witnessing... Oh, here we go. This will be good. Here's the truth at last. What you're witnessing is the formation of persistent condensation trails. Oh, contrails. Yes, I think we're being conned again by aircraft transiting along the air traffic service routes, also known as airways, that are established over the UK. Contrails are formed when water vapour, which is emitted from aircraft engines as part of the combustion process, comes into contact with the surrounding air. Their formation is completely dependent upon the ambient atmospheric conditions such as temperature, pressure and humidity. If the air is dry, low level of humidity, the trail will only appear, as it were, for a short plume behind the aircraft. Whereas, if the surrounding area will close the saturation, high level humidity, the contrail will evaporate slowly, or not at all, or will be... What do you mean, not at all? You telling me that that in and of itself, what? You're telling me that an aeroplane could go at a certain height and the vapour will just not evaporate at all, ever? It's just going to stay up there? You want us to believe that? Really? This is ridiculous. And will be long and persistent, occasionally spreading into cirrus-like cloud. Really? That explains why contrails appear behind some aircraft and not others. And then it changes the size of the font as if that was just cut and paste, of course. That's a standard reply. I hope this information is helpful and alleviates concerns about the contrails you're seeing. You can find more information here at aircraftcontrailsgovernment.uk and here at Chemtrails Debunked. Oh yeah, like we're going to go and see that. That's the aerosociety.com. And it also finally goes on to say the BBC has also recently, like we're going to, believe the BBC, they've covered an article, Chemtrails, what's the truth behind the conspiracy theory? A general inquiries team, external information services, civil aviation theory, blah, blah, blah. And you can see that the emails are there, inquiries at caa.co.uk, and their website is www.caa.co.uk. They're even on Twitter, so if you want to @UK_CAA and tell them what you think about their response, then you can do that. This is disgusting and is blatant lies, and our skies are continually being filled up with this nonsense. They are lying to us. We know it. They know we know it, and they're squirming to try and show something. But we must get to the bottom of this, for otherwise this is the end of humanity, isn't it? Not that we want to worry about it. We will find a way out of this, but we've got to wake people up and let them know what is exactly going on. And these lies of contrails is just not going to wash. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, so thanks to my brother for sharing that video with me. I just thought I would share that with everyone else as well. He shows a government organization talking about that's exactly what they do and explaining why they do it. And there's many theories and things that they've adopted to try to cool down the earth, and they do it through geoengineering. And he said all the different names: climate engineering, solar engineering, weather modification. He just comes out and says it, right? But then right away the government organization comes right back and says, no, that doesn't happen, it's just contrails, it's just, and then condescendingly gives mainstream stories on the fact that it doesn't exist, even though this scientist was saying that it did. There's so much evidence out there. There's so many scientists who just come out and talk about it. If you ever want to check out a really great documentary on this subject, look up The Dimming. It's called The Dimming, meaning the dimming of the sun, and it's done by geoengineeringwatch.org. If you want to check out a really great website, geoengineeringwatch.org is really great to keep you up to speed on all the latest that's going on from scientists' effort to cool down the planet. And then the government comes out and says, no, it's not really happening. So scientists come right out and tell you it's happening. And then the government comes out and tells you, no, it's not happening. So who's right here? I thought science was settled and scientists were up there with God. So obviously if all the scientists are saying it's happening and they're doing it, and why they're doing it, it must be happening. But why is the government then coming back and saying, no, it's not happening? And why are there certain states in the United States who have made it illegal to do this in their skies above their states? They've actually come out and said no more over their states. They don't want this stuff happening anymore. So there you go. Anyways, that's the show for the day. Appreciate you being on. Thanks to everybody's comments, and we really appreciate you. Hope you have a really great Tuesday, and we'll see you, God willing, same time, same place on CKLU, cklu.ca, Facebook and YouTube live, same time, same place tomorrow. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Make sure to like, share, and take care. Stay tuned now for Earshot Daily on CKLU 96.7 FM. Have a great one. Ciao.
This is Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.